All right, what is going on, Laker fans? Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys being a part of the Los Angeles Lakers post-game show here on Hoops Talk. Please subscribe to the channel if you don't mind. I am your host, Alan Sliwa. Obviously, no video tonight. Tonight will just be an audio show, an audio post-game. There's going to be some days where I'm not able to have video. I'm not in a studio, but I still want to crank out a post-game show for you guys. And tonight is a perfect example of it. I'm going to do it. We're going to talk Lakers basketball, but this one is going to be primarily just me. So thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Lakers lose to the Memphis Grizzlies, 131 to 114, the final score for the Lakers. They lose again. They're 1-4 now on this road trip. I'm not going to probably make too many excuses for the Lakers, obviously without Anthony Davis and without Rui Hachimura. Really just without Anthony Davis. I don't care who's out after that. If AD's not playing in a game, the chances of winning that game is not very good. We all know that. We know what his contributions have been so far for the Lakers. We know how important Anthony Davis is on a night in, night out basis. So not having Anthony Davis, you're going to be at a real disadvantage. However, it's not like the Memphis Grizzlies were healthy tonight as well. It's not like in this 1-4 road trip that the Lakers went on that Anthony Davis didn't play in 4 of the 5 road games, and the Lakers still had some struggles. Even the one win that they had against the Toronto Raptors wasn't clean. It wasn't perfect, and Lakers are handed another L. On the other side as well, don't forget Desmond Bane, who's a phenomenal player, a really, really good player, one of the more underrated players in the NBA, didn't play for the Memphis Grizzlies. Marcus Smart, one of the solid role players in the NBA, and unfortunately for him, he's had some health issues since he's been to Memphis. He didn't play as well. So, yes, the Lakers were missing 2 starters. Yes, the Lakers are missing arguably the best player in the NBA so far this season in Anthony Davis. But the Memphis Grizzlies also had some injuries. Ja Morant only played 24 minutes. He looked like he had some type of an injury, so he didn't get a chance to play a full game as well. But to me, it's not just Anthony Davis didn't play. Everything's, you don't count this game. Lakers have other issues. There's other issues going on with this team, and there's been other opportunities and other times where Anthony Davis was available and Lakers were still losing. So I don't want to make too many excuses on it, but of course I can't come on the postgame show tonight and not mention it and not talk about it that Anthony Davis did not play tonight, and neither did Rui Hachimura. Second half struggles for the Lakers. I'm looking at this right now, and I'm seeing it on Spectrum Sportsnet. So just to give you an idea how bad the Lakers defense was tonight, 35 points for the Memphis Grizzlies in the first quarter, 36 points for the Memphis Grizzlies in the third quarter, and 36 points for the Memphis Grizzlies in the fourth quarter. So they scored 131 points, and were in the mid-30s or more in 3 of the 4 quarters. They scored 72 points in the second half. They ended up outscoring the Lakers by 11 in the second half, so that clearly didn't help the Lakers in any stretch of the imagination. If you don't play defense and you're giving up 131 points, you're not going to win many games in the NBA. We all know that. Give Memphis credit. I mean, I think we have found in these last couple of games what the blueprint and what the issue is going to be for the Lakers versus some of these teams just in the regular season. Teams that are young, teams that push the pace, teams that look like they don't get tired, teams that can make the Lakers. I mean, how many times I saw LeBron or Austin Reeves guys putting their hands on their shoulders like, hey, I need a breather. They're going to try to run a marathon, and for the Lakers, they got to pace themselves. But it feels like teams like the Grizzlies, teams like the Pistons, even Toronto when the Lakers play them, they're sprinting for a full marathon. Lakers can't do that. That's not their game. That's not their style. I'm looking at some of the individual players for Memphis. Yeah, Jaren Jackson Jr. had 20. Looked really, really good. Jalen Wells, I don't know that much about Jalen Wells. He was phenomenal for them. He had 20 points. Ja Morant, take away Ja Morant, who had 20 points, who, by the way, didn't always look very smooth tonight. I felt like a lot of times forcing shots, taking bad shots, a lot of turnovers, ill-advised passes. I know he's Ja Morant, but he didn't look good or smooth tonight at all. I felt like a lot of his game was a little bit all over the place, going to the basket. I know that is his game, but Ja Morant didn't look like the Ja Morant that I'm accustomed to seeing. He looked sloppy tonight. But some of these other players for the Memphis Grizzlies off their bench, Scottie Pippen Jr. was obviously a Los Angeles Laker, had 14 points, had 4 assists, had 6 rebounds, 5 and 9 from the field. Give him a ton of credit. All right, how about Jay Huff, another guy that had a year with the Los Angeles Lakers? Jay Huff in tonight's game against the Lake Show, he looked good. He had 11 points. He had 4 assists, hit 3 threes on the Lakers, and shot 50% from the three-point line. Jake LaRavia, if I'm pronouncing the name right, here's another kind of youngster that's out there, was drafted in 2022. He had some moments for them. So you have all these guys for the Memphis Grizzlies outside of their main players, their 2 main players, which is Jaren Jackson Jr. and, of course, Ja Morant. You had a lot of other players that were impacting the game as well. And that really right now is such a big difference between the Lakers and some of these other teams. Surprise contributions from Cam Reddish tonight, which he's going to continue to get himself more playing time. He had 15 points, but there was nobody really on this Lakers team outside of LeBron James that you look at and you say to yourself, okay, this guy's a beast. This guy's coming in. I mean, I give Cam Reddish a lot of credit tonight. It's just, unfortunately, it's coming off a loss, so it's a little bit more difficult to highlight that. But LeBron was basically on his own tonight, didn't have enough help, didn't have a team that had the ability or the talent to play the type of defense that they need to play. And the team looks a little lost right now. They're 4-4, like I mentioned. I don't think, record-wise, I don't think that's going to be the end of the world of what their record looks like. But I do think it's important to point that out because they started out 3-0. That there was some real excitement right when the Lakers sorry about that, playing with my levels here a little bit. Hopefully the level's okay. There was some real excitement when the Lakers got off to a 3-0 start. But since then, they go on this road trip. And losses, I mean, you kind of list out the losses and we can make excuses for it, but Phoenix was a part of the loss. Cleveland was another L. Detroit was obviously another L. This is Memphis. And the only win that you had to get was against the Toronto Raptors, who was missing one of their key players in Scotty Barnes. They were missing a couple other guys as well. I think Gary Trent Jr. also not on the roster, or not on the in that specific lineup that the Lakers played over the weekend or on Friday night there. So a lot of kind of different directions that we can point at this team right now. Is it paying attention to the standings the end of the world? No, but they're 4-4 now, and that 4-4 has got you back in that number 10 spot. And I think, I was talking about this a little bit this morning. I think there are times that you can look at this Lakers team a certain way, and you could maybe try to sell yourself on this team having a chance to be a top 6 seed in the Western Conference. But 4-4, after losing 4 of their last 5 games, it quickly just drops them all the way down to 10. Now, is everybody bunched up? Yes, you got Dallas, Minnesota, Sacramento, Denver. You got 4 or 5 teams that are at 4-3 or 5-4. Memphis now at 5-4. So it's not like that matters to nobody's really paying attention to the standings right now and saying, hey, this is a real issue. It's not like they started 2-8 like they did in the past under Darvin Ham. It's not one of those starts, or 2-10 actually through their first 12 games. It's not one of those types of starts, but it's disappointing to see the Lakers lose these 4 games with games that I thought were winnable. Detroit obviously should have been winnable. And even that Phoenix game, they had some opportunities in that one, and then tonight really kind of buried themselves a hole and never was able to recover from it. I hate watching games in the beginning. Lakers go down 8 to start out the game, 35-27. For me, that's the part that's most frustrating, is you got to play from behind the entire game, so you really don't even get any momentum. And I thought Memphis, Lakers were still in it by the time you got to halftime. It was only a 6-point game. I thought Memphis played really poorly in the first half, and Lakers were lucky that it was just a 6-point game. A lot of ill-advised turnovers, a lot of passes that you're kind of wondering what they're doing. But in your head, you're saying, okay, sounds good. As long as the Grizzlies keep making mistakes, maybe the Lakers can be in this game. Another kind of stat here I guess part of the strategy when Anthony Davis is not there. I don't know how much I agree with it just because the Lakers are not all that effective of a three-point shooting team. They shot 48 threes tonight. Memphis shot 17 and shot 50%. Lakers shot 48 and hit 31% of their threes. They actually got the Memphis Grizzlies had more trips to the free throw line than the Lakers, at least in my memory through this early 8-game stretch so far for the Lakers. I don't remember seeing a time that the Lakers didn't win the free throw battle, but it's probably happened before, but something to point out right there. Another issue for the Lakers, this was the same thing that they struggled with against the Pistons, rebounding. Just teams getting, active hands, tipping the ball out on offensive rebounds, guys that are just quicker to the ball. Lakers standing around, kind of looking to see, I thought you were going to get it. No, I thought you were going to get it. So another poor rebounding game for the Lakers, 50-37. Turnovers, I talked about how bad the turnovers were, but not necessarily on the Lakers side. Lakers only had 11. If you got a team have 18 turnovers like Memphis did, but they still blow you out by 17, damn. That's not a good statistic. That should work in your favor. And it didn't work in the Lakers' favor. Even though they outscored them 22-7 points off turnovers, there's just too many other mistakes. Points in the paint, they were plus 16. Points in the paint was the Memphis Grizzlies. So Lakers never led. Never led in this game. Memphis's biggest lead was 22. For the Lakers, no lead. They did not have a lead at any point in this game. All right, I want to start talking about individual players here for a quick second. Again, thank you very much for tuning in. 131 to 114. Please subscribe to the channel here. Obviously, I'm bringing you guys content after every Lakers game, trying to get you a post-game show. This one, audio version only, no video. But I'll be back on tomorrow morning. And if you really, really would like to see my face, you can see my face at 8 a.m. in the morning as I get into a few of the sports here. All right, so individual players. LeBron dropped 39 for the Lakers, was 15 of 24 from the field. And the reason why he was able to get to that total was because he was hitting his threes. 6 of 11 from the three-point line was LeBron. 39.7 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 turnovers. The only way the Lakers were going to win this game is if LeBron went off and then a couple other guys were there to help him out, specifically Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell. I was watching the game early on, and I'm saying to myself, I'm like, D'Lo, just start firing away. Who cares? Just start shooting all your bullets. It doesn't matter whether the shots go in or not. The Lakers don't have other offensive options. Even D'Angelo Russell forcing a shot or not taking the best shot, I'm not saying do that every possession, but just be overly aggressive to where a Laker fan can sit back and say, D'Lo's kind of taking some bad shots, or why is he taking these shots? And I don't feel like we say that very often because for the most part, D'Lo is always unselfish. That's his game. D'Lo's game is predominantly an unselfish player, not somebody that's going out of his way. Definitely not somebody that's going out of his way to force shots or anything like that. But with Anthony Davis not in the lineup, Rui Hachimura not there, no other real threats for the Lakers offensively, I would have liked to seen D'Angelo Russell be super aggressive. Okay, well, he kind of took that mantra, but just 2 of 9 from the three-point line. Just 4 of 12 from the field. D'Lo's off to a really bad start. Really, really bad start this season. And I'm talking more about efficiency. I'm talking more about when to pick his spots, when to be aggressive, when not to be aggressive. I'm not really sure if I know what D'Angelo Russell's role is on this team right now. I'm not 100% sure if they're using him the right way. I'm not 100% sure if he's confident in his own game or confident in the system that the Lakers have. Super early still. But that's my initial thought process. You needed tonight D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves to both go off. Instead, between those two players, they took 29 shots and hit 11. They went 11 of 29 from the field. They went 4 of 18 combined from the three-point line. That's just not going to get it done. 19 points for Austin Reeves. D'Angelo Russell had 12. I don't care about the totals. I care about the efficiency or the inefficiency in this matter. Austin Reeves took 17 shots to make 19 points. D'Angelo Russell took 12 shots to make 12 points. So those are big time issues for me when I'm watching this Lakers team right now, and that backcourt seems like an issue for the Lakers as well. That's just not going to be good enough for this team if they really want to make noise. They need consistency from that backcourt. They need efficiency from that backcourt, and they need that backcourt at least at sometimes to play some type of defense where there's a point guard out there, a shooting guard that doesn't feel like he's always going downhill and is pushing around some of these Lakers players. Dalton Connect got his first start. I actually liked that Dalton Connect got the start. I was talking about it this morning that I wanted to see JJ Redick just play him more simply because what do you got to lose? What do you have to lose? I mean, especially if Anthony Davis and Rui are not playing, let's just get Dalton Connect as much experience as possible. You could tell he needs a lot more time. 1 of 7 from the field in 27 minutes of play. All his shots were threes. 1 of 7 from the 3-point line. I hope JJ Redick is having a conversation with him in the post game locker room or on the plane when they're coming back to LA. And I hope he's telling Dalton Connect, you got more to your game than just 3-point shooting. You're not a one-dimensional player. Dalton Connect is not a one-dimensional player. When I see Dalton Connect go 1 for 7 from the field and everything was just threes, yeah, I don't like that. If Dalton Connect was JJ Redick, maybe that's a different story. If Dalton Connect was a player that just comes off screens and looks to hit jumpers and is just not quick enough and fast enough and talented enough to create for himself, then I would say, okay, well, that's all right. Actually, I don't even know if I'd still be crazy about that. If you're not hitting your threes, stop taking threes. But he's too good of a player and too talented of a player to not start telling, especially when he's struggling from the three, to not start trying to get a dribble in and saying, okay, well, why don't I settle for a 15-footer instead of a 22-footer? Why don't I take the ball to the basket and try to draw contact so I could get to the free throw line and get into some kind of a rhythm? Why don't I try to drive the ball to the basket and see if I could just get an easy layup just so I can get things going? I don't like to see Dalton Connect take 7 shots and all of them are from the 3-point line. That means Dalton Connect is living and dying from the 3-point line. I think he's too talented for that. So I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him expand his game a little bit and not rely so much on the 3-point line like he did tonight. As far as some of the other players, Cam Reddish, I mentioned the 15 points. Sounds like he's going to get more and more opportunities. Max Christie did have a couple of buckets, 8 points, 3 of 8 from the field. The broadcast was talking about it. Stu Lance and Billy Mack, they were spending some time basically saying how uncomfortable he looks. Not uncomfortable, but his lack of confidence when he's playing. So that's going to be a challenge for Max Christie to figure out. Gabe Vincent, there was a quote from JJ Redick before the game, and it was basically talking about Gabe Vincent. I'm going to read you the quote here. Trevor Lane put it out from Lakers Nation a little bit earlier. It would be nice if a guy could play 18 minutes and not shoot 0 times. Mentioned that's not a knock on him, talking about Gabe Vincent. I thought it was a good idea to do that. I thought, in my opinion, it's kind of a way to see if he can motivate a guy like Gabe Vincent. I don't think Gabe Vincent was going to take that personally. I don't think Gabe Vincent was going to look at that and say, you know what? I don't trust my coach anymore. I think Gabe Vincent I think he's trying to challenge Gabe Vincent. I don't mind it at all. He took more shots. He just can't hit a shot. 2 of 8 from the field, 1 of 6 from the 3-point line. 6 points, minus 15 in the plus minus, one of the worst plus minuses on the floor tonight. Surprisingly, LeBron with 39 had the worst plus minus with minus 21, but Gabe Vincent was right behind him with minus 15. The woes and the struggles continue for Gabe Vincent. So that's the best way that I can put it. Overall for the Lakers, obviously just another tough night for them. We can make excuses. I get it. Anthony Davis is, like I said, he's arguably been the best player in the NBA so far this year. So we can most certainly make excuses for him. But at the end of the day, you are you are either stacking up W's or you're not. For the Lakers, this isn't a one-off. This is their last 5 games where I think they've played some questionable basketball. And again, it's not like the Memphis Grizzlies were healthy as well. They were missing some key pieces as well. So something to keep in mind there. All right. Well, look, I think there's a couple different ways to kind of take this loss. I think that the Lakers, if you look at their schedule and what they got coming up, if I'm trying to be positive here, they got some, I like to call them some winnable games. We'll see what happens, but they got the Sixers who are playing the Clippers right now as I'm recording this post game. And I'm not telling you it's going to be a walk in the park, but I know Joel Embiid's not going to be playing. So that should certainly help the Lakers. We'll see what the status is of Anthony Davis and Rui by then. Then they got the Toronto Raptors at home, and then they got the Memphis Grizzlies again at home as well before they go back out on the road for a couple of games. So 4-4 right now. I guess what you're hoping for, best case scenario is you're 6-4 through 2 games or through 10 games, or you're 5-5 through 10 games, which could very well happen as well, where they lose to the Sixers and beat the Raptors, something along those lines. It's also going to depend on the health of Anthony Davis, like I mentioned. All right. Tomorrow I will be back on at 8 a.m. in the morning. We'll do kind of a deeper dive, a deeper breakdown of this Lakers game. So I'm going to spend some time doing that. If you're somebody out there and you're in Southern California, a lot of my show that I'm doing, the Sliwa show at 8 a.m., is really predominantly focused on SoCal sports, heavy focus, you can say, in LA sports. Ryan Abraham, who covers USC football, is going to join me tomorrow. I think USC is kind of a fascinating conversation. It's their first year in the Big Ten. They're really struggling. They're changing their quarterback in the middle of the season. All the question marks around Lincoln Riley. So if you're an SC fan tomorrow, I'm going to have him on at 8:30. I'm going to start breaking down Lakers basketball at 8 a.m. There's some Dodger news out there that I'm going to get to as well. Some other stuff that I'll share with you guys as well. So a full show tomorrow starting at 8 a.m. For those who have tuned into the post-game show tonight, thank you for doing so. I appreciate you guys doing it. Audio only tonight. Like I mentioned in the beginning, there's going to be some times where one of the things that's going to be important for me and part of the reason why I'm 100% on YouTube now is just the ability to be remote, to be in different places. And I'm not always going to have video, but for a post-game show like tonight, that's not too crazy, right? For years, I was doing it on radio. A lot of it was just audio. But for the most part, I'm always going to try to have video for you guys. But I will have some occasions where I'm doing audio only. So thank you for hanging out tonight. I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Grizzlies over the Lakers, 131-114. Final thing I'll say, really helps my channel. If you like and subscribe to the channel, trying to close in on 26,000 subscribers, if you can help out with that. And if you like the video, it's just good for how YouTube feeds this specific channel or the post-game show to others. So if you can like as well, I'd appreciate it. All right, y'all. I'll see you guys in the morning. Thank you very much. Have a good rest of your evening.